Alright, what's up guys? This is NinjaDeathStrike bringing you another Play TCG match. My opponent this time is going to be Gunmonkey, and this is from a while ago. It was a couple of weeks before Nats, I think, and I'm going to be testing out Zekrom Terrakion, and he's going to be playing the one and only Vanillix deck, 2 Scoops of Pain if you're a fan of the deck, that fucking Vanillix deck if you're not, and looks like I'm going to get to go first, which is cool. So I hit 1 heads on my dual ball, which is awesome because it's my first one and I expected to flip double tails. And if you caught a look at my deck there, you'll see that I actually have a really heavy Terrakion line. I actually play 2 Terrakion and 5 Fighting Energy, so very heavily invested in the Terrakion in this build. I have to say I'm not a fan of this build. I really like the straight up Zekrom Mewtwo build a lot better, probably just because I like Mewtwo. I'm pretty good at Mewtwo math and Mewtwo wars, so playing a really heavy Mewtwo deck like that is advantageous to my playstyle. So anyhow, I decided I'd give this one a try. It was right around the time that the deck was kind of gaining popularity, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. So unfortunately, I'm not up against the decks this deck was built to beat. I'm up against Vanillix, and I really have no idea how to go about playing this matchup. Other than take prizes fast if I can, I'm not sure how my deck wins this match except for just getting lucky. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, I'm recording this after Nats, so it's quite an old match, and I don't remember most of it. I just remember the finish is fantastic, so bear with me if I'm a little bit lost during the narration. Like I said, I lost it in my folder, so I didn't get to narrate it right after the match, which is usually what I like to do. So you'll see there, I played an Oak and actually hit 2 Eels off of it, which is cool. Unfortunately, I don't get a Lightning Energy or another supporter, or really a whole lot of anything besides the Eels, and I don't even have any energy in my discard to take advantage of them. So not a great hand there, and I'm kind of stuck. So it is going to mean that he's not going to be able to portrait me for a supporter, but at the same time, this hand has absolutely nowhere to go. I'm totally in top deck mode now, and he's going to continue to set up even without the help of my supporters. So he P-coms for a Gloom here, and the fact that he had 2 Odysseys anyhow meant that I really couldn't take a prize on them even if I had the ability to last time. So I got to be wary of twins. I don't have Smeargle, so I'm not going to be able to know if he plays one, but I do top deck the Juniper right there, and that's awesome for me. So I just decided to go ahead and bench the 3rd Dynamo, because I guess it would be my only free retreater if I can get Sky Arrow up, or I could get Eels, get a 3rd Eel, which would help my energy, but I don't know if I needed to play it down. I don't think it was too big of a deal since I've already got plenty of attackers on my bench. So here I'm playing that dual ball just to get it out of my hand. There is a Gloom on the field, so that means Vileplume next turn is a very real possibility, and I can't really afford to dilly-dally here. So I'm going to go ahead and attach to Zekrom, and I believe... oh, it just outraged. So I decided not to take the prize here, hoping that he didn't have twins, and it looks like he doesn't. So oh yep, it doesn't matter, he's got Rare Candy Vileplume, so he actually candies into the Vileplume. I like the first move better. I like candying into the Vanillix, but I didn't know at the time that he does play Blossom, and so that was actually the better move for him, because it means that he's already got the Gloom in play, so he can just put down Bill Awesome whenever he manages to get it. So by not attacking there, I was trying to prevent the Vileplume coming down for one more turn, but it didn't work out, and Trainer Lock is up. So sorry, I have to refresh the screen here because it was lagging. That's what Play TCG does. If I remember correctly, this was a night that was really bad, so I might end up doing that a couple of times this match, and hopefully it'll be okay. But he is able to portrait me there. You'll see that Smeargle, the picture's not even loading, so it was running really slow this night. But I actually had one of each supporter in my hand, so he had his pick of what he wanted. He went for the Oak, which is probably the right play, and now I play my own Oak, and I get a handful of trainers, which is terrible. So luckily I was able to get that Eviolite down on the Mewtwo before Trainer Lock went up, and that could prove to be huge. It's going to make it really, really hard for Vanillix to knock it out in anything like a reasonable time. On top of that, I'm still in okay shape because he hasn't played an energy yet. So he plays his first energy here, but that means that he had to send something else up to take a hit while he charges his Vanillix up on his bench. So he didn't really have anything else to fodder out. He really wanted to keep that Gloom for whatever reason. Again, because he has Vileplume, even though I don't know that at this point. But he opts to send up Victini instead, and now he kind of has a choice. He could sack one of his little Vanillixes. I forget what its name is. Vanillite, I think. Vanillite. Sure, we'll go with Vanillite. But he opts to sack the Victini instead, and this is definitely a mistake. He realized it too. He already has a Vanillix up, so he can probably afford to give up one of the Vanillites. And Victini is just really, really crucial to the match because it's going to ensure that you have the 4 flips that you need to hit that heads. Otherwise, your chance of paralyzing with double freeze drops down to 75%, which is still pretty high, but not like the 94% it is with Victini in play. So here, he goes ahead and plays his Twins. He grabs a Rescue Energy and just attaches it immediately. And then he's going to search for something else. Probably another Twins, I would guess, unless he's got another one in his hand already. And so now the Freeze Lock is going to begin. Unfortunately, I was only able to play down one Eviolite. It would have been nice to have it on Zekrom as well, but Zekrom can't one-shot Vanillixes anyhow. So it's not a real big deal. And it looks like he hits just one heads here. That's going to put me at 80. And that's actually really ideal for me because it forces him... Or not forces, but it gives my Zekrom a chance to maybe attack again. If he only hits one heads the next turn and then flips quad tails or double tails because he doesn't have Victini, flips double tails on the next time, I can actually outrage him for a KO, and that would be huge. It'd put me up 3 prizes, which would be a really hard deficit for him to come back from. So you'll notice down there on the bench, I'm just stacking tons of energy on Mewtwo. That's really your best bet against this deck, especially with Eels. They're generally able to pile energy onto Mewtwo pretty quickly and give him enough energy to take a one-shot on Vanillix. So even though you're trading 1 for 2 prizes, you're normally going to be doing that anyhow because all of your other attackers aren't going to be able to KO Vanillix in one hit. Also, this matchup, Terrakion's going to be particularly useless. So you see me there stacking that fighting energy on Mewtwo, really just because I can. I can't get the fighting back from the discard pile, so I would rather manually attach that to Mewtwo and then discard the lightning energies since I can Dynamotor those back. So here we got another Twins. He tried to play Flower Shop Lady, but he didn't actually have any basic energy in his discard pile, and without at least one Pokemon and one basic energy, you're not allowed to play Flower Shop, so he's going to have to keep it in hand for now. And that, yeah, that's unfortunate for him. So it also seems like he flipped double tails. What is going on? Alright, yeah, so I'm retreating. I assume. He did flip double tails again. Not having that Victini really hurt him this time because it lets me get that damaged Zekrom out of the active spot, back onto the bench, and I only have to discard the 1 energy thanks to Sky Arrow. It's also not a big deal since I have the eels up, so I'm able to get enough energy on my Mewtwo to take a prize, promote the Mewtwo, and then take the KO without giving up the prize on Zekrom. So that does put me up 3 prizes, which is really huge. Normally, if you don't get up by at least 3 prizes before Vanillux takes its first prize, you're not going to win the game. If you're up 3-6, you have a decent shot. Obviously, anything more than that makes it much easier, but here, and you'll see the screen jump there, that's again because I had to refresh because it wasn't loading. So I've given myself a chance now. I also have the Violet on the Mewtwo, and he doesn't have Victini in play, so I can hopefully survive until he flips dual tails and then take another prize with Mewtwo, and that would be absolutely huge. So I'm not sure what the holdup is right now. Could have been some confusion. So there's the flips. I guess it just wasn't refreshing, but it looks like he got 1 heads. So that is going to paralyze me and do 20 damage, which isn't real big, but the important thing is it's going to give him another turn to figure out how to get Victini. So if you look up at his discard pile there, you'll see that he did play the Flower Shop Lady in the time that my screen wasn't loading, so that means his Victini is back in the deck. He's probably got another one too, but I think it was prized this game, so he was able to put it back into the deck, and then the next turn, this turn right now, he plays Collector, grabs it, and also gets a Smeargle and another Vanillite. I hope that is that thing's name. I honestly don't remember at all. I think it is though. So now that Victini's in play, his lock is going to be a lot safer. He's going to go up from 75% chance to 94. And I decided just to go ahead and Dynamotor onto my Zekrom here because I can. You'll notice that I didn't evolve the Dynamo on my bench. That's because I need to have a free retreater that I can send up when something goes down. That way it'll allow me to Dynamotor to things on my bench and then retreat into them. And I don't really feel like I'm going to need to Dynamotor 3 energy here. It would be helpful for Mewtwo, I suppose, but it's going to take 2 turns to get enough energy to take out a Vanillux anyhow. So having the 1 extra energy a turn isn't really going to matter, because as long as I'm able to drop a single energy from my hand, I can power up another Mewtwo in 2 turns. I don't remember how many Mewtwo I actually played in this build, though. That may be my only one. I think my attacking line might have just been 3 Zekrom, 2 Terrakion, and 1 Mewtwo. So once this Mewtwo goes down, that could be it. And you see here, he hit double heads on the last one, and then he hits a single this time, so I'm at 120. If he gets double heads next time, he is going to be able to knock me out, and that would be bad. So here, I just draw past. There's really nothing I could do. I suppose I could have attached that fighting energy, but I didn't for whatever reason. It's not really going to matter. And he does hit double heads again, so he actually takes down my Violet and Mewtwo pretty quickly. He hit double heads at least twice there, and that really sped up the process. So here you can see why Dynamo is so important. I'm able to promote it, Dynamotor onto my Zekrom, and then bring that up and go for the Bolt Strike to put him at 120. So you'll also notice that Blossom has come into play on his side of the field. I'm not sure when that came down, but he's actually going to completely forget about it for the entire game, which is a really big deal. If you look at the damage on his Vanillux right now, it's at 120, and it's going to make it pretty easy to take out the next turn. However, if he was using Blossom, he would be able to reduce some of that damage and maybe make it a little more difficult for me to take it down on a revenge kill. I guess he decided it didn't really matter since I had Zekrom there. But I'm going to just bench this Smeargle because why the heck not? I don't really have any other attackers in the deck. I do have a Terrakion. I have 2 more fighting energy, so it's possible I could get a Terrakion powered up, but Terrakion is just terrible against Vanillux. Really, really terrible. It only does 90 damage, and then it dies. So it's not really going to cut it. And I'm in deep, deep trouble. Because I'm kind of out of attackers. I got these 2 Zekrums, I've got 1 Terrakion, and that's it. And beyond that, none of these guys can take out a Vanillux quickly. So the only way I'm going to win is probably going to be to take out his... for him to flip some tails, lots of tails, not take out as anything. I just need him to flip tails. So now that I have Smeargle down, I can evolve my electric if I want to. So it looks like I was thinking about it there, and then I decide, you know what? No, this Dynamo is gonna take a prize. He has 120 damage on his Vanillux, and so I decide to go aggro Dynamo and KO him with Thunder Wave. And again, if he had remembered he had Blossom, he could have prevented that from happening and forced me to bring in my Zekrom to attack. And then after he takes out my Zekrom, I don't have another attacker. So rather than get the 3rd eel, I decide I'm going to bring up Dynamo. I know it's going to die, but there's a very large probability that anything I have at this point is going to die. And Dynamo actually trades prizes 1 for 1, and it lets me keep my Zekrom for something more important. So that was kind of a neat little play by me that ended up working out. So here I'm just going to go for a Juniper. I need to be careful because my deck is getting pretty thin. I'm down to 11 cards, but I do hit the fighting energy, which is really big. It means that I will have an option to retaliate with Terrakion here and put some damage on him. The prizes have become tied up. It's 2-2, so I not only need to kill this Vanillux, I need to kill another one after it, and that is going to be a pretty tall order because whatever I send up here is not going to take a prize, and then it's going to die. And then after that, I will be able to take a prize with something else to come in on the revenge, but then that's going to die, probably, and that's going to be the game. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for it here with Terrakion, and what I do is Dynamotor 2 of my energies onto it while it's on the bench, and that way, if he flips quad tails, I'll be able to retreat out. Had I sent up the Terrakion with only the 2 energy, even if he flipped dual tails, I wouldn't have been able to get out of the active, and it would have been the same as if he had flipped ahead. So I wanted to give myself the ability to get out of the active spot if he flipped quad tails. If he doesn't, you know, it's not a big deal. Whatever, the energy is just going to go right back to the discard, and then I can get it again after Terrakion goes down. So I do hit my final energy in the deck. I don't have any more energy in my deck, I'm pretty sure. And so I was thinking about attaching it to Terrakion here, but then I take it back, probably because there's not really a point. If Terrakion ends up going down, there's no reason to attach the fighting energy to him, just because I can't get it back. So I may as well hang on to it. You know, I could attach it to something else, like electric, if I need to actually come up and use Electro Ball. So at this point, that was seriously my plan. I was like, all right, if Terrakion goes down, I'm going for Electric Ball. I don't know why I thought that. It seemed like a decent option at the time, but I guess because it's the only thing that can't get one-shotted. Yeah, I'm guaranteed not to have it be one-shotted this turn. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna attack with Electric and KO this Vanillux. So let's see. I did 50, so that was 140. Yeah, okay. Missing the Bill Awesome's power. Wasn't a big deal there, but he's going to send up Victini just as a placeholder. Skyro is in play, so Victini has free retreat. And, I mean, there's not really a whole lot for him to think about here. He just promotes Vanillux, and he double freezes. And if he hits a heads, he's probably going to win. So, there's not a whole lot to it. If he flips tails... he'll probably still be okay. Just because I still don't have anything on the board that's capable of OHKOing one of his Vaniluxes. So even if he gets a quad tails here, I'm not going to be able to take a prize on him. And so he's got to be feeling pretty good about his chances. He has to flip quad tails twice in order to lose. So there we see double tails. He goes for Victini, and he hits double tails again. So I got what I wanted. I am going to be able to retreat, and I Dynamotor onto Tynamo again. So I'm going to retreat my Electric back to the bench, and rather than go up with Zekrom, I'm actually going to go up and attack with Tynamo. And I flip a heads on the Thunderwave, which is huge. It means that he's paralyzed. So I give him a nice taste of delicious karma, paralyze his Vanillux. He still is not aware at all that Bill Awesome exists, and that it's in his deck, and that it's actually on the field, and it could win him the game. So I'd noticed that he hadn't been using the Poké Power the whole game, so I figured this is my best bet. Send up the Tynamo, act like I've won the game if I flip a heads, and hope that he doesn't realize he could have healed it. And that's exactly what happens. He doesn't use the power. Next turn, I retreat Tynamo, send up Zekrom, and Bolt Strike for 120, putting me 10 damage away from the draw and taking out the Vanillux. So that is going to be the match. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And at the moment, this is the last video that I've done a recording for. So I'm out of TCG games right now. And I don't think I'm going to have another one to go up before I leave on for vacation. So it's going to be a bit of a hiatus just from TCG. I will be posting other stuff. So please stick with me. It's just going to be for, a short break while I'm on vacation. I'm not giving up on TCG. I will have more games coming up when I get back, and especially once TCGO is back up. So if you've subscribed to me for the TCG games, please stick around. There's more coming. Just kind of a slow spot right now, especially since Nats is over. We're kind of in between formats, so there's not really that much motivation to play. But once we get the Dragon set and we get TCGO back online, I'll have a lot more TCGO matches for you guys. So thanks for watching, and more coming your way shortly. Later.